for the first true road game. It's always interesting. All the years that we've been here, these are always really big challenges. South Carolina's got a terrific team. They had two really good big men last year, but they have all those perimeters back, and the young kids that are playing inside are as physical as anybody we've seen, really posting up strong. Frank's teams always play hard. They're going to really be very aggressive defensively, trying to turn us over, get steals, et cetera. We're going to have to be really good with our offense. And then stay in front of them in defense is a challenge. They really got some great quickness, shooting the ball, the lights out. The three perimeter guys shooting the lights out right now, too. So it's a tough challenge. Stay in front of them and contest their outside shooting. So it's going to be what I think 2 4-0 teams playing against each other on the day before Thanksgiving. Should be a good crowd, loud atmosphere, and that's exactly what we probably need right now.
Yeah, their lead scorer right now, Thornwell, kind of, at least statistically, looks a lot like Zach. So, like, what have you seen from scouting him? Where do you think he's going to make a big difference in the game?
Well, I look at last year's stats a lot as well. His assist turnover last year was great. He's a consistent, 35 to 40% shooter over his career. They're 2 seniors that really know how to play. He's probably shooting the ball a little bit better than Zach is right now. I don't know if his assist turnover is quite as good, but he's just a good player. And that's what when you have a senior that's been starting for a few years, that's what they should be.
Zach?
Coach, I guess it's an argument, but I think last week's wins probably drew the most national excitement for your team in at least 2 years. Did you find yourself maybe having to settle the underclassmen down a little bit? Maybe they got excited or a little amped up with the wins?
No, I didn't exactly see that. No, okay. And they're cognizant. There was 2 good wins. We look at this long marathon to the season. We don't try to get too amped up. It's a highlight. Hopefully it's not the highlight of the season. So it was, we had some consistency with some guys back for the first time. And, the other teams were replacing some pretty good players too. So, we played well for 2 days. Now we have to just keep it going. No big deal. Chris?
Were you kind of pleasantly surprised with the way you guys played, would you say?
Yeah, if you know my personality, you go in there with each game you're just preparing for a struggle each game. And when you go in at halftime and you're up by, nearly 20 points both times, 20 or more, or around 20 each game, it's a little bit of sudden change. Is our press offense is good enough? How are we going to handle it? So I was pleased with the way we handled it. I think Marquette made a really good run to go back down to 12. The SMU hit 2 threes to open the second half to get to 13, and we brought it right back up. So both of those were, just really solid wins from the standpoint, wire to wire, we handled any adversity. Never surprised by anything. Just never surprised. Just try to keep thinking ahead. What's next, not what just happened.
And then with DJ, Jim Harbaugh always talks about the meritocracy talk, and hey, it's time for you to produce. Did you have the hard talk with him in the off season?
Not really. I think he saw, with the attrition we had from last year, he saw a real opening for him, and I think he really seized it this summer. He stayed home one of the sessions. He came back the second session really in good shape, good body. This is what we saw in him when we decided to give him a scholarship way back, a guy that can guard 1 through 4. That's like the biggest thing right now. He can guard 1 through 4, and to have somebody can guard 1 through 4 is huge. You can guard, so you can play 2 bigs, but if their 4-man is a shooting 4, you're going to get killed. So he can go and guard a shooting 4. He can go and guard a power forward. He can guard a driving 4. It just changes everything for us.
All right.
Coach, you mentioned that you thought DJ had a big jump in rebounding, but it seems like really the entire team is rebounding well right now. I guess what's gone into that change, that turnaround?
Well, I wish I could say that in the second half against SMU, but they got some penetration, and they were like the #1 offensive rebounding team, or a top 5 team in the country offensive rebounding. They're going. They're sending 4 guys right down the channels to get rebounds. So, I don't, we're more concerned, what you guys should all look at is rebounding percentage and not number of rebounds. In other words, we could out-rebound the team and have 10 more turnovers, right? It's a game of possessions. It's rebounding is a very astute stat. It's rebounding percentage to pay attention to, and ours is just okay. So I don't think we're rebounding better. I think DJ really helps us. He's getting the ones that we haven't been able to get, the ones that are above the rim.
John, we've seen your offenses over the years, and we've seen them when Trey was here and Nick was here, and they were super, super efficient. The first half of the last 2 games was about as efficient as it's been in a long time. Was it important, sort of to Zach's point, was it important for the younger guys that haven't seen that level of efficiency to experience that, and now it's on tape?
You know what I love, Nick, was in the game, I would turn to Ibby and X, and I would say, do you see how they did that? That's what we've been talking about. It's just, they're reading each other and they're sort of understanding things, and they do it okay. We have so much to grow in this whole thing, but again, with this first 7 guys, all were on this team last year. They all had significant minutes last year, so they should be doing some of these things. But I do like the maturation some of them are making in their game.
Over to Brandon. Yeah, with Ibby next, last week you were kind of saying that you thought that they really needed some work this week, and they still have a long ways to go. So I was wondering what you're really kind of drilling them in practice is, and if you think that we'll start to kind of see the results coming up sometime soon.
Right. The stuff that we're drilling them in right now, to be honest with you, is stuff you learn in basketball camp. You just can't get enough fundamentals for them right now. Really, how to pivot. There's believe it or not, there's like 7 or 8 ways to pivot and get things done. How to dribble the ball with speed. How to dribble the ball with strong, hard dribbles. I mean, the stuff that we're working at them in there is all attainable for them. That's why we're excited about them. And they're very willing to work at it as well. But we will try, in the 20 hours, we went for almost 4 hours on Saturday. That was 45 minutes of film and 45 minutes of weights. But it was a good 2.5 hours. They were out there, those 2. They were out there with the rest of some guys playing our games that we play while the starters rested. We just got to continue to develop them every day. They'll be, today when everybody goes to shower, right? We got to watch our 20 hours, of course, but everybody goes to shower, they will be working 15 more minutes. That's our thing. And then with Austin and John, they're getting the same attention. But we got to do this. We got to develop them.
Chris?
You recruited PJ Dozier, I
Yep.
think. Talk a little bit about what he provides for them.
But he is real. But I saw him as a multi-position player, a guy that probably is more like Karras-like, that could see the floor. Did not go in there with a jump shot, and I think last year in the league he was 1 for 21 from 3, and now he's 7 for 15. So he's developed that, but he can really see the floor. He's just a player. He's a 6'6" player, and so much like Karis LeVert, that's why we thought would have been a great replacement there. So really a great family, sisters with the USC, uncle, dad, everything. I'm sure everybody down there is excited to see him play every day.
Zach?
With Mark, I obviously don't necessarily want to go on and on about his situation, but he is kind of in a tough spot in that he was supplanted for the starting role and kind of facing this uncertain potential 5th year. Are you impressed with how he has responded and how he's doing coming off the bench and just being able to get the boards?
He's a senior. He's been here 4 years, and he really, over his 4 years here, he's got to continue to grow and grow and grow. And right now, he's playing with the confidence that really a 4th-year guy should play with. So I'm excited for him. This is really great for him to be able to go out and just get. I mean, he's playing more minutes than Mo right now, if I'm not correct. And so he's going out there and getting starters minutes. Only we got a bulldog coming off the bench. And that's really healthy to have a guy that's coming off with real purpose like he is.
Anything else?
What do you expect from them defensively, and what do you have to be prepared for?
There's a couple of things that they're doing. They're playing. They've played some, maybe not a lot of possessions, but 20 or 30 possessions of 1-2-2 zone or 1-2-2 press back into a zone. But basically, although they're not big in steals. Like Marquette was stealing the ball 9 or 10 times a game. They're stealing it 6 times a game. They're a pressure team, and they're going to try and run us out of our stuff. And we got to be really good at making that extra pass and make complete passes, catch it with balance to keep our turnovers down. They're forcing 14 or 15 a game. They're also have 14 or 15 a game. So if we can play one of those games where we're at 9 or 10 turnovers, get their offensive percentages down to 25%, their offensive rebounding percentage, we'll be in good shape. But that's not what they're not gonna let us do. Is they're gonna get extra possessions, and they're gonna try and turn us over.
Are you gonna have to force yourself to play the freshman a little more? You said it's.
Well, like I said, it is it's a different scenario when you're at this level.
Mhm.
Is that you are not saying, okay, we just gotta get them ready by March. No, your resume is many times made during November and December. So every game, as you go through this, you know, the games against, in the so-called guarantee games, where you can do real harm to your resume by losing to a team that is not in a top 100 situation. You can do great things for your team in the long run if you can beat a team that's in a top 50. And who knows where these two teams would be, where they would be. You don't know that yet. So every win, you got to treat it a little bit like a tournament atmosphere at the beginning of the year, because that's your resume is built there. Because if you just say, this doesn't mean anything, and you go through this 13 games, and you don't have the right, 9, 10 wins in those 13 games, it could really hurt you. So we treat these games really important. This road win at USC would be very much, like our road win at North Carolina State last year. Those are huge wins to get, and so we'll play close to the vest, but use them as we need to. We're trying to grow them in practice right now, unless we need them in games.
Great.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Coach.